Hi everyone, it's Monday the 20th of June and we've got an interesting take on the foreigners and income tax issue here in Thailand. We'll do that a bit later as covered in Pattaya Mail with a link in the description as well. You're not really probably going to learn anything new, but it's an interesting take on the topic nonetheless. But there's quite a lot of news around Phuket today, partly around some big dance festivals over the weekend. We were sort of on a bit of an outside edge of the whole thing with another festival just nearby at a place called the Bubba Beach Club. Might share some of the stories from that in the next few days, but let's head to Phuket. Thai resort island Phuket grapples with growing garbage crisis. This is being reported by Reuters, and the article says Phuket, Thailand's largest island, has undergone rapid development due to its tourism sector, a major driver of the Thai economy as a whole. Of the country's 35.5 million foreign arrivals in 2024, about 13 million headed to the island. And checking on the numbers, last year in total, Thailand didn't quite reach the highest number of tourists it ever had back in 2019. But Phuket exceeded its highest number of tourists last year ever. And according to the Deputy Mayor of the island's main municipality, he says that the growth of Phuket City has been more rapid than it should be. And by the end of the year, the island could be producing up to 1,400 tonnes of trash a day, overwhelming its sole landfill. And according to an assistant professor in waste management at the Burapha University, he says if you just keep expanding more waste incinerators, I don't think that would be just the solution. So Phuket, not just in terms of landfill, has far exceeded its current infrastructure. There are just too many residents, there are too many visitors, there's too much traffic on the road, and anything that the officials decide to do today really won't have any effect until 5 or 10 years down the line when these projects may or may not be completed. The government up in Bangkok keeps on talking about new roads, new bridges, new infrastructure, but nothing ever seems to happen. Meanwhile, the Thai Parliament urges action on human trafficking and scam networks. So again, here we are, the Parliament urging action. This is a big topic as well. The whole scam situation and these people being kidnapped in Thailand and taken across the borders is a big problem. But where's the action? This story from thepattayamail.com says the Thai House of Representatives discussed urgent measures to combat human trafficking and transnational crime networks, including call centres and online scams. And the government's current efforts, technology crime laws, a 1441 hotline and regional partnerships, were criticised for being insufficient. MPs agreed to treat human trafficking as a national priority and forwarded the issue to the Security Affairs Committee for further study, with recommendations due in 90 days. So urgent action looks like it could be at least 3 months down the track. Now, some big dance festivals are on over the weekend down south, one nearby here at Natai Beach in Phang and the other big one was the EDC, the Electronic Daisy Carnival. Daisy, did you hear about that? And some very sad news. And covered by thephuketnews.com, 2 tourists die at EDC in Phuket. And the first one, police identified the deceased as Min Nguyen Quang Pan, a 32-year-old American national found carrying an Iowa driver's license. And he'd been attending the popular electronic music festival at Boat Avenue Lakefront in Cheung Talay. Witnesses said he suddenly went into shock and lost consciousness during the event. This was on Friday night, and on-site medical staff provided immediate care, rushed him to the Talang Hospital, but despite doctors' efforts, he was pronounced dead at 12:30 a.m. Then there was also the death of a 28-year-old Canadian man. Initial investigations revealed that the man had been staying at a hotel in Patong for about 2 days. On the day of the incident, he attended the EDC. During the event, the man lost consciousness. Medical staff provided immediate care, transported him to Talang Hospital, but despite resuscitation, he was also pronounced dead. And we go to some coverage from thepattayamail.com. Its headline, 2 foreign tourists die at EDC in Phuket. cause under investigation, and they named the 28-year-old Canadian identified as Mr. Shafaraz. And it says investigations into the cause of death for both individuals are ongoing. The police confirmed that alcohol and drug tests were conducted to determine if substance use played a role in these tragic events. And the Electronic Daisy Carnival, known for its vibrant music, elaborate art installations and large-scale entertainment, attracts thousands of electronic dance music enthusiasts, and this year's event in Phuket was anticipated to be a significant cultural highlight, featuring performances by renowned DJs such as Skrillex, who I've actually been to one of his sessions, Tiesto and Afrojack, who I'm also aware of, among others. And some video there shot on the final night in the closing set at the EDC in Phuket. So some sad news to lead the coverage of this big event in Phuket. I'm sure the promoters would have hoped for some better coverage, but yes, 2 people dying at the EDC in Phuket over the weekend. To this story in the Bangkok Post. Fresh crackdown on vaped ketamine in Thai nightclubs. And the government is stepping up suppression of a new form of narcotic drug called Pod K, a mixture of vape juice and ketamine now popular among clubbers. Ketamine is a stimulant classified as a type 2 narcotic drug. Possession could lead to a maximum of 7 years imprisonment and a fine of 700,000 baht. But the offence of distributing the drug carries a jail sentence of up to 15 years and a maximum fine of 1.5 million baht. Because of its ability to induce a state of sedation and relief from pain, ketamine is legally used as a short-acting anaesthetic for medical purposes. And if ketamine is used for a long time, it can lead to addiction and psychosis, according to this quote. A high dose of ketamine can cause vomiting, seizures, lack of oxygen in the brain and muscles, and in some cases, death. I've been under the effects of ketamine after a procedure, probably some 15 years ago. Has to be the worst 48 hours of my life. It was completely hallucinatory. I was away with the fairies, sort of half in reality and half not. And I sort of said in some moment of clarity, whatever I'm on, put me on something else. And I'm glad they did. Okay, to this story, we head up to northern Thailand. And this is covered by Thai PBS World. Elephant frightened by fireworks in Nong Bua Lampu injures 5. And 5 people were slightly injured by a running elephant, which was frightened by the sound of fireworks at a local fair in the main city district of Nong Bua Lampu province last night. And some video footage posted on the Bangkok Post Facebook page. And the elephant was brought into the fairground by its owner and 3 mahouts to solicit donations from the public. But when fireworks were ignited to mark the beginning of a beauty contest, police say the explosions might have scared the elephants. Luckily, at least in this case, no one died, and we do hope those people have a swift recovery. And we can hardly go past a day at the moment without talking about air pollution, at least a little bit, and this is in Khao Sot English. And today is the first of the 2-day work-from-home measures introduced by the Bangkok Governor due to unhealthy levels of PM 2.5. Bangkok ranks at number 17 among the most air-polluted major cities in the world today. Just checking the Bangkok map, and there's plenty of red and there's plenty of purple, which means very, very poor air indeed. But if you zoom out, it's not really much better in other parts of the country. Even down here in the south was quite smoggy yesterday, and up in the north, although they do have worse pollution at some times of the year, it is at least not as bad as central Thailand today. And then finally to this, and there's a link in the description of this video. It's covered by patiamail.com, foreigners and income tax, take your pick. And pretty much you're not going to learn much more about this tetchy issue from this story, but as I mentioned earlier, it's quite an interesting take. Here we go. And if there was any doubt before, there's none now, says Pattaya Mail. This is the number one concern of the expat community in Thailand, particularly the 250,000 or so retirees and non-working long stayers. So they break up the various expat camps into these 5 groups. The not on your life adherents, and they say they didn't come to Thailand to share their pre-taxed pensions with the Thai Revenue Department and won't do a thing unless or until tax officials turn up on their doorstep. There's the "it's all exaggerated" adherents, and they examine some of the details but say modest earners need not get involved, and they argue that there has been no actual change in the law and that foreign experts in Thailand have blown the whole matter out of proportion. Then there's the double taxation treaty discounters. They point to these agreements as generalised excusals that mean foreign nationals from 61 countries are immune from further reporting if they transmit funds to Thailand. There's the foot in the water supporters, and they say the best thing to do now is to apply for a tax ID from your local revenue office, but not actually send in a tax return. Then there's the "sure is better than sorry" advocates submitting a tax form unless you are sure you have no tax liability from foreign income remitted to Thailand in a particular year. And you can read the entire story at patiamail.com. As I mentioned, there's a link in the description of this video. And with that, we hope you get an opportunity to subscribe. Hope you have a great Monday. We've got beautiful weather here today, and we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.